All right, let's stretch overhead. Let's flex and extend the spine. So arms overhead, a little bit of a lean back, but rather than thinking about lower back, then think about the heart space, reaching up to the ceiling and dropping the head back. There's our counter stretch, flexion. We'll swan dive the arms down, bend the knees, and we're going to hug the legs. So we can use the arms wrapping around the backs of the knees to get a yummy stretch to the back of the body, chin into the chest, so we're relieving the back of the neck also. And then back up to standing, deep breath in, stretching. Spread the fingers. See if you can lift the toes and spread the toes here as well. Heart space up to the ceiling. Stretch. Maybe a little bit of a side-to-side sway to release out the hips, and then back to a flexion of the spine. Rolling the shoulders back and down. Clasping the back of the knees. Chin into the chest. Look at your belly. And draw your chest to the thighs. Last time, breathe in, spine extension, reaching up. You can clasp the opposite hand, wrist to give you that extra little bit of a stretch. And last time, coming to a flexion of the spine, chin to chest, hold the backs of the legs. Lovely. All right, roll up through the spine. Similar sorts of flexion of the spine, but we'll interlace the fingers, soften the knees, and it's only trying to look under your armpits. So a little bit of a twist for the spine. Remember, we sometimes call this an open twist. Stretching from one side, gently come center, other side. Look under your arm. So there's a bit of a lateral flexion of the spine here. Last time each side, nice big stretch. And then we'll be taking a pyramid fold with a flat back. Last time. All right, shrug the shoulders back and down. We're stepping the feet apart, toes pointing forwards, hips square to the front. This time we're clasping the hands behind the back for that counter stretch. Wide open across the chest. Slightly take the hands away from the bottom, and then with a nice flat back, tilted pelvis, long spine, long neck, looking down at your big toe as the clasped hands reach the wall behind you, top of the head to the wall in front. Pause long enough to feel real length here, so maybe taking the right ear down to the right shoulder or across with kind of swiveling the head just to lengthen, ease out the neck. Now, press into the floor, pull the tummy button back to the spine to come back up to standing. We're going to do that again, but adding a bit of a twist. So this time, same legs in front. We add a bit of a bend into the knee. We'll fold, and now holding that front thigh, start to look over your shoulder and take a twist. So the first rotation of the spine we're doing, so go easy. This top shoulder can roll it back and down, maybe reach the wall behind, just feeling your way into that twist to the spine. Long right into the crown of the head, chest wide open, pressing the feet into the floor so the legs are active, and then slowly come center. Shrug out the arms, we switch legs. Pyramid, set up, toes pointing forwards, hips square. Roll the shoulders back and down, clasp with the other thumb on top. Now, with a breath in to prepare, close those front ribs, tilt the pelvis, and come into a flat back fold. So notice as we come into the fold, the head lowers at the same rate as the spine. So try not to have the chin poking out here. No creases at the back of the neck. Rolling the shoulders away from the floor. Working on that openness across the chest. Now press into the floor, strong legs, core switched on all the way up to standing. We take a bend into the front knee and we're swiveling over that front leg. So when you're ready, coming forwards, hand on the thigh and using that for your stability, roll your back shoulder away and take a twist. Shoulders down, ribs together, navel, back to spine, legs strong. Just feeling that rotation, the chin, ribs, belly, keeping the front knee tracking forwards. Fabulous. And slowly come center. Shrug out the shoulders. We're shoulder rolling now. Take the shoulders forwards, Up to the ears, flip the palms, thumbs to the back wall, chest open wide, and then fingertips to the floor, twice more. Chin can come to the chest, whipping around the back, internally rotating, lifting, flip the palms, chest open wide, and then fingers down. Last time. Chin to chest, soften the knees, so we're flexing down the spine, lifting, open, and lowering down. Great. Arms wide. We'll bring the arms forwards and back. Twice more. Forwards, right into the fingers and back. Last time. Can we take them in opposite directions? So one goes forward, the other back. So we're bringing out the arms, side to side. Now this time, one's forward, one's back. Bend at the elbows and see if you can start to reach the fingertips towards each other. Then extend the other way, bend and reach. You've guessed it, we're doing Gomuktasana later. So we're just practicing that bind. Doesn't matter if the fingers don't meet, just that intention of reaching, tricep stretch. We're opening another side. All right, so if you're in this position, press the head into the forearm, yeah, more of a stretch in that upper arm, release. Okay, bank that one for later when we do the full cow face pose. Let's come to our Pilates plumb line where we've got the feet right under the hips, toes pointing forwards. Now, with the head, chin tucked into the neck, rolling the shoulders back and down, turning the palms to face forward can just help encourage that openness across the chest. Now with the pelvis tilted so the pubic bone comes up to the ribs, we can have a light engagement in the lower abs, and we've got the lower spine, that neutral position, tailbone pointing down to the floor. Now let's take a moment to think about pressing into the big toes. As soon as we do this, we can almost feel as though there's a band-aid on the outside of the knee wrapping across to the big toe. So think about supporting the outer knee by pressing the big toes down. Now think about pulling up through the thighs. So this means almost as a band-aid on the inside of the knee, pulling all the way up. So we're supporting the knee. We've got that perfect plumb alignment. So big toes down, but then rolling out the upper legs. We have that pelvic tilt. Now hands on the ribs. Let's go for lateral thoracic breathing. So as you breathe in, try to breathe sideways. What we want to avoid is tension in the neck and shoulders. So try to think about the lungs expanding sideways. So shoulders nice and soft, shoulder blades soft. Breathe in, feeling the expansion sideways, breathing out, coming together. Once more, and then we're going to try to hold our plumb line as we move the arms. Okay, now keeping the front ribs knitted together, tummy bottom back to the spine. We have that length through the tailbone. Let's take the arms by the side of the body. As we lift the arms in parallel in front of the body, let's try to keep the body in the same position, to go slowly enough that you can notice, at this point, do I want to collapse in the ribs or stick the bottom out? Try to keep everything perfectly stacked, heads over ribs, ribs over pelvis. And as you breathe out, float the arms down. So shoulders stay down, only lift as high as you can go, keeping heaviness and softness in the shoulders and the shoulder blades. Feel how your core has to switch on that little bit more strongly as we lift the arms. Next time we're lifting the heels as well. So back to pressing the big toe down and tailbone tucking, arms lift and heels peeling off the floor, rising up. So if you think about if we hurt our ankle, it's generally rolling out to the little toe. So let's work on strengthening the muscles to keep the foot in a nice stable position. So the big toes down, think about the band-aid wrapping on the outside of the knees. Head lifted right up to the ceiling. We've got that pelvic tilt. Feel that work into your calf muscles. You rise up, try not to let the abs pop out here, and floating the arms down. So like a vertical line, think of like one of those glass elevators, lifting directly up, big toes down, support the knees and the ankles. And then we'll come to a flat back fold. So once the heels are down, we'll take the upper body forwards. Big toes are pressed down, inner thighs almost coming forward to the front. We'll let the arms come by our sides and reach the wall behind. Still strong in the core, and then back up to standing. All the way through, heels up, plumb alignment, head over heart, ribs stacked over the pelvis. Once the heels come down, straight into your flat back fold. So we're trying to work on that containment in the body, so that instead of just loading onto one major muscle group, the whole body is working. Last time like this, breathing in, heels up. If you're really stretching into the fingertips, plugging the arms back into the sockets, closing these front ribs, navel in, you'll start to get hot, using so many muscles in the body, very strenuous, but also makes for a much safer way of using the muscles. Fabulous. Keep the arms parallel. As they come forward, take a squat, chair. Make sure you can still see your toes. Reach through to the fingertips, yet keep the arms plugged into the sockets. Tailbone tucked, and sit low. From here, the hands are going to come into a prayer. Press the thumbs into the chest bone, and we'll take a twist. So make sure every now and then that your toes are still visible. So we're sitting back in the heels, but you can still press the big toes into the floor. We take a twist to one side. We breathe in center, and breathe out, take a twist to the other side. Once you've got into the flow of this, maybe you take it a little bit deeper and hook the elbow on the outside of the knee, but glance down, make sure the knees stay in line with each other. Breathing in, center, other side. Rotation for the spine, maybe looking up at the ceiling. Last set each side, tough on the quads, but great strengthener. And last side. Well done. We're coming to the back of your mat. We're taking a Pilates roll down, plank, puppy extended child pose, and then into a lunge. Are you ready? So this is in lieu of sun salutation, so you can afford to work up a bit of a sweat here. All right, to the back of your space, chin to chest, roll down through the spine. Slowly find the floor. We'll pace the hands forwards. Now all that stabilizing of the core, let's use that now. So try to avoid wavering the hips side to side. Pacing the hands forwards, out that control in the body. Your knees can come down in your plank, otherwise in a high plank. But make sure your shoulders are over the wrists. So we've got that 90-degree angle between the floor and the forearms. Shoulders back and down. Take a moment to engage everything in the body. Now the type of extended child pose will take his knees down, and we'll spider tip the fingers forwards. So it's somewhere between the extended child pose and a puppy pose. Let the heart sink down to the floor. Maybe the forearm comes to the floor, but I'm lifting the palms of the hands, which is the fingertips creeping forward, so we get that release in the spine. Just pause here for a moment. And then hands under the shoulders, lift up. I'm going to step my right foot forwards into a kneeling lunge. Backstroke. So let's start by placing the opposite hand, my left hand, the opposite hand to the foot that's in front, on the floor. With your arm, reach forwards, reach up, reach back, and return. Option to tuck your toes under at the back and come to a higher lunge. So working the shoulder girdle, the muscles of the shoulder girdle, reaching chest opening, stretching the legs, keeping that front knee hugging towards the center line. Nice deep breath. Give me 2 more backstrokes on this side. Remember, the knee can come down at any point. To switch sides, we're still on the same leg, but this time, same hand as the front foot on the floor. We can then backstroke with the other arm, reaching forwards, up, back and down. And this is nice inner thigh stretch on this side. If you want a little bit more work, we can again tuck the toes under the back, lift the back leg, and then flip the foot so the toes are pointing forwards. Breathing in, reaching up, and breathing out, reaching back and returning. You can either let the head fall to one side, just down to the floor without moving, or allow the gaze to follow. You're working your balance as well. Give me 2 more here, and then we'll be pacing the hands back and we'll be taking the other leg forwards. Any point the knee can come down to the floor. You can also return to that child pose. When you're ready, frame this front foot with your hands. Pace, step your foot back, and then we're pacing the hands back towards the feet. So engaging the core, minimal waving side to side, pausing in your forward fold before rebuilding the spine, one vertebra at a time. At the top, rolling the shoulders back and down. I'm going to switch to the other side, so that'll be my back leg stepping forwards. So at the other side of your mat, chin to chest, rolling down through the spine. I mentioned this before, that we do plenty during our day where we're rounding the back. It's often with tension, with working. It's good to allow a flexion of the spine mindfully and allowing tension to leave the body. When we're ready, we can pace the hands forwards and we'll pause in that plank position, shoulders back and down. So the hands hip shoulder distance apart, legs straight, squeeze the glutes, knees can come down to the floor. But let's think about closing those front ribs, tummy bottom back to the spine. That puppy pose, extended child pose, knees down, creep the fingertips forwards and sink the heart down to the floor. Forehead to the floor, palms lifted, fingertips reaching forward. You can sway the hips side to side here. Lovely. Hands under the shoulders, remember the knee plank. We lift, and I'll put my left foot forward so the other leg comes forward into that kneeling lunge. Opposite hands to the floor for backstroke, reaching forwards, open the chest wide, reach back and return. Option to tuck or release the toes at the back. Option to tuck and lift the back leg. Chest open wide, the whole body working here. Try if you can to work the movement with the breath. So we maybe breathe in forwards and up, breathing out, back and down. Last 2 on this side, and then we switch. Remember, this is your sun salutation. This is a little bit of cardio. So keep going, engage all the muscles in the body, be strong and long. And then it's the same hand and foot at the front. The knee can come down at the back, and we're taking that movement into your other arm. So either toes untucked or lifting with the foot flat, toes forward. So think about like a warrior 2 stance in the legs, 90-degree angle between the feet. Think about occupying space here. Try to avoid collapsing into the floor. Resist the floor. Breathe in. And a nice, slow, calm out breath. You're nearly there. Almost leaning back on that knee so you get a yummy inner thigh stretch. Last 2 on this side, and then we're stepping back and pacing the hands back to the feet, and then we're down onto the mat. All right, hands framing the front foot, step back, pace the hands back to the feet. Just pause a moment to circle out the wrists, and then we're coming down to the floor, sit on your bottom legs out wide, we're taking the seated saw. So, when you're ready, roll the shoulders back and down, sit up tall. Opposite hand on the outside of the leg, opposite leg, and it's a reach, reset, sitting up tall. Other side, breathe out, breathe in, and so we flex forwards, legs are straight, but allow a little bend, definitely no forcing. Your backhand can go on the floor behind you for support. And almost like you're trying to reach something beyond that little toe. Do use that central position to reset, being the tallest you can be. Last 2 sets, reach, reach, reset, tall. So sometimes, even though it's preferable to generally breathe in and out of the nose, sometimes just breathing out of pursed lips just gives us that extra pulling in the core. Amazing. We're going to take a modified Janu Sirsasana. So now back to yoga. Let's bend the right knee, left foot forwards, toes up to the ceiling. Instead of just folding nose to knee, let's take a spiral. Nice and easy, gentle and beneficial. It's not cheating. As soon as we take that rhythmic movement, we're calming down the body and we're still moving continuously. Maybe over time, the nose might brush the knee. Well, let's not have a fixed idea of where we're going. One more circle of the body in this direction, and then change direction. Try and keep heavy and soft in the thighs. Arms nice and soft. One more circle in this direction, and we'll reach for the toes. And pause for a breath in a forward fold. So the toes are up to the ceiling, shoulders back and down. And place the hands down the leg. Maybe cross the hands over for a really secure hold on the leg. Bow the head and let's pause. So you can close your eyes just for 2 full rounds of breath, just to allow heaviness to come into the body. No need to force. There's all those benefits of finding length and release in the back of the leg. Hamstrings, tight hamstrings, cause of so much lower back niggle. All right, head last to come up, pace the hands back and let's switch legs. Left foot into the groin, right leg extends. Move the flesh away if that helps you sit up a little bit taller. And we're spiraling. So initially, nice heavy arms, head, spiraling around, maybe flirting with the idea of folding, but then passing on through. So no forcing, no pausing. And as with the last bit of exercise we did, pacing forwards and the back stroke, see if maybe you can match a phase of the breath. So maybe breathing out as you come in front of the line of the body, breathing in as you dip back. Let's change direction. Other way. Let the arms melt down. Using all the muscles of your core, the legs. This nice movement for the head, just letting it loll in this circular movement is lovely. All right, let's come to our forward fold. So pacing the hands forward. I like to cross my hands over if I'm on a day where I'm not ready to catch hold of the foot. Holding anywhere up the leg with crossed over hands, it just means the rest of the body can melt down and soften. So if you've got a secure hold on the leg, bowing the head, try to avoid holding the head. See if you can almost feel like the head, keep where you are. The head is almost like a ripe piece of fruit, which is literally almost about to drop. So nice and heavy into the head. Closing the eyes to soften through the body. So sensations in the back of the leg starting to lessen. Softness in the shoulder blades. And then head last to come up. Slowly pacing the hands back, legs out in front of you. Give the legs a little bit of a shake. We're taking a mermaid fold, but that could be a pigeon for you. So it just depends on how you're feeling at the moment. Let's bend the knees, turn over this front leg, and we're pacing the hands forwards to a fold. If that just isn't touching the sides, you need to come into a full pigeon. So that means this back leg will extend all the way out behind you. So make sure the toes, all 5 toes are reaching for the wall behind. A little bit of a rock on the spines. a little bit of a rock, sorry, hip to hip, and then we can come down, stack the hands and rest the head. Taking a nice restorative fold in your pigeon, we've got all the benefits of externally rotating this front leg, stretch for the glutes. Maybe you're getting a little bit of a hip flex or release in straight leg. You can increase that by maybe knee and toeing the back leg a little bit further away, tilting the pelvis, almost drawing your chest forward. You need to lean on whichever hip gives us a little bit more of a stretch. Take a moment just to enjoy that. And then gently come up. And we're over to the other side. So that's either your mermaid stretch position, turning and folding over the front thigh, or extending the leg out behind you. We're so near the end of the class, but just try and enjoy, close the eyes, find a nice stretch, whether it's in the glutes or more in the other hip. Soften through the face. Reach back to that straight leg if you're in the pigeon. And the last thing, we're going to take a nice, easy cow face to cow face pose, and then we'll hold it, and then we're done. Lovely. Right, give yourself 2 breaths here. Soften down, find heaviness. Chill out for a moment. And then head last to come up. Roll it through the spine, come on to all fours. We've done this before, but let me just remind you. We'll lift one knee and place it on the outside of the other. We separate the feet and we make moves to sit down between, but you don't have to hold it. Drawing yourself forwards and then the other side. Stepping back with the knee, open the feet. Notice if we start to sit back, the knees stack. So side to side, if you're very tight, and you don't want to go too far into it, just easing yourself back. Can be really nice with the hips. Keep going with the switch to switch. If you feel you're ready to take the full Gomukhtasana, let's pause on one side. Otherwise, keep going side to side, nice and slowly. Whichever leg is on top, get the other arm in an L. Reach behind your back, and then see if you can reach, as we do at the beginning of the class, for your bind. Option here to take a fold over the legs. Breathing deeply. Coaxing a bit of softness. Now here, if you want another option, the lower leg can straighten. So just for another moment, just in a forward fold. Don't worry about the arms if that's too much. Pause. One more breath here. And then, if you're in the full Gomukhtasana, let's come back onto all fours. Take it to the other side, the other knee on top, feet wide, and sitting back. Find your position, otherwise keep going side to side, nice and slowly. Opposite hand lifts, bends. Maybe work to your bind or grab a strap. And option only to come to a forward fold. Now breathe into those hips. If you're not taking a bind, get your fingers, your knuckles into the hips and just give them a little bit of reassurance and coaxing to soften. Breathe deeply in and out of the nose. Smile, you've made it through about 28 minutes. Nearly there. So wherever you are, let's gently come back onto all fours, sit on the heels, roll the shoulders forwards, up, back and down. Again, rolling the shoulders, softly opening across the chest. Again, and then we'll roll the head. And then head rolling, soft jaw. Any crackling, any popping. No stressing here, just nice, gentle movement of the head. Just work into the wrist, hold the wrist, draw the soft tissue down, make a fist and circle in each direction. If you know you're a little bit tight in the forearms, get your fingers into the belly of the muscle there and give it a good squeeze, and then over to the other side. Other hand. Good strong clasp of them. Wrists, joints, draw down, fist and circle. So supported, restricted movement, but just going a little bit deeper than if we're flapping our hands around in a wrist circle. Down to the forearms if you need. And then shake out. And hopefully that sets you up for the day.